If you want to build a wealthy country from scratch, the historic formula is pretty straightforward. You want miles of coastline for global shipping, vast stretches of flat, fertile farmland, or massive deposits of oil and minerals buried underground. But Switzerland has none of those things. It is completely landlocked, possesses virtually no natural resources, and is dominated by harsh, vertical rock that makes large-scale farming nearly impossible. To make matters worse, it sits wedged right in the middle of Central Europe. For centuries, that meant sharing borders with France, Germany, Italy, and the Austrian empires, superpowers that spent hundreds of years warring with each other. By traditional logic, this geography should have created an impoverished buffer state. Instead, this tiny alpine territory is a dominant economic titan, boasting some of the highest living standards on Earth. Because they lacked natural advantages, the Swiss could not simply extract their wealth. They had to deliberately manufacture it through human strategy. The Swiss turned their geographic flaw into an asset, utilizing the impassable Alps as a physical defensive shield. While blocking armies, the mountains held specific, narrow routes connecting Europe. Controlling these bottlenecks, local towns transformed into prosperous commercial centers, collecting tolls on all trade. Later on, that same imposing landscape drew a different kind of traffic. Millions of wealthy travelers flocked to the snow-covered peaks, laying the groundwork for a lucrative alpine tourism industry. The Swiss took a barren mountain range and turned it into an armed fortress and Europe's most profitable tollbooth. By the 19th century, Switzerland made another strategic calculation. While neighboring powers destroyed their own economies in massive conflicts, the Swiss adopted strict armed neutrality. When much of Europe was rebuilding after wars, Swiss businesses kept their doors open. This unbroken chain of operations established the country as a geopolitical safe haven. Global investors need safety above all else. They flooded the country with capital, certain that the local infrastructure and the government would not collapse. While historic bank secrecy built the foundation, today's financial sector maintains its size by adhering to international transparency standards while offering unmatched regulatory stability and financial expertise. In a continent prone to chaos, absolute predictability became a lucrative export, generating the capital needed to fund their broader economic ambitions. Even with capital flowing in, physical limitations remained. Without cheap labor or vast stockpiles of raw materials, Swiss companies had no way to compete in mass-producing standard consumer goods, so they abandoned volume manufacturing. Instead, they focused every ounce of effort on extreme precision and high-margin products where profit margins are massive. This critical pivot first manifested in their watchmaking. Companies like Rolex produce mechanical timepieces that require meticulous human labor, commanding premium prices worldwide. That same obsession with precision scales into their modern industrial sector. Switzerland produces scientific instruments, medical equipment, and pharmaceutical engineering through giants like Novartis and Roche. This high-value strategy even applies to their food. By refining basic agricultural ingredients, they built globally demanded premium brands like Nestle and world-renowned luxury chocolates. By prioritizing quality over volume, they insulated their core industries from ever having to compete with cheap overseas labor. To sustain an economy dependent on innovation, a nation needs exceptionally capable people. Switzerland facilitates this through an unparalleled national investment in education. Their dual-track education system allows students to combine classroom theory with immediate practical apprenticeships. This creates a constantly replenished, highly skilled workforce ready for complex manufacturing. At the university level, institutions like ETH Zurich consistently rank among the world's best, producing scientific breakthroughs that feed directly into technology startups. This educational engine is backed by a system of direct democracy and reliable laws. And when long-term investors look at the Swiss market, they see a legal system that offers absolute confidence. But this heavily engineered society has trade-offs. Living costs are among the highest in the world. Housing, healthcare, and daily expenses place an immense burden on residents, while the country constantly strains to balance immigration with environmental protection. The Swiss experience proves that a nation's starting hand does not dictate its future. Lasting, world-class prosperity is a manufactured outcome, the result of generational investment in education, wise political stewardship, and the careful cultivation of global trust.